building up your confidence. So you really have no idea how people are going to react to your music. And yeah, they might come up to you afterwards and be like, oh, that was really nice, you got a great voice, great job. Like, oh yeah, awesome, right? But, you know, when you get that, like, confidence where you can just sit in front of a whole whack of strangers and tell them, like, okay, so, you know, I really liked this guy, and we hung out for a while, and then he stopped texting me, and this is pretty much the most vulnerable song I ever wrote because I really felt like a connection to this guy, and then he just kind of dropped off the face of the earth, and I really, you know, whatever, you know, and then you go into the song, and then they hear all these words about how you felt about that moment or that time in your life, you know, like you're giving a little piece of yourself away, you know, to these people and letting them know how you felt, you know, and these are just people, like strangers. So I always find it really amazing that, you know, I can do that. Like I can sit in front of a bunch of people I don't know and just kind of like lay it all out, you know, to them. Whether it be a song about a boy or a song about getting sick of Vancouver and wanting to come back to Nova Scotia or whatever, so.
Everybody sees something different in me, and I'm trying to figure out who I want to be, and I'm living day to day. Got no plans a week from now. I've got my friends and my guitar, and I'm getting by somehow. And I don't need much. Got Vancouver sky and the ocean side.
I lived there till I was about 3, I want to say. My mom tells me it's 4, but I think it's 3. And then we headed over to Cape Breton for a few months, just sort of in transition until we found a place. We lived in Beaverbank for about a year and a half, Beaverbank, Nova Scotia. And then we ended up moving again into Sackville, and then again into another place in Sackville. So I ended up growing up from grade 2 till I was 19 in Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. My dad plays guitar, my grandfather played fiddle and harmonica, and my uncle plays guitar and writes and plays drums and bass, and was in the military for 35 years and played tons and tons of music for the military, and not as a hired person for the military, but just for fun. He had a ton of people that he knew that just were musicians, and they used to do like Canada Days and all that kind of stuff, so there was always a party when my uncle was around. And growing up too, weekends were just big jam sessions at my house. I don't know how my dad just kind of knew everybody who played something, and if they didn't know how to play something, they knew how to sing along. So we had like the, you know, big amps and microphones and drums and keys and guitars, just like everything you could think of. And if it wasn't in the basement, it was in the living room or somewhere, you know. So I kind of just grew up around music all the time. There was always something going on, and as my brothers got older, they started to play bass and guitar, and then I started to play bass and then guitar. It all started with bass, and then we all went to guitar for some reason. But we just tried whatever was there. So if there was drums there, we'd try that. If there was keyboard there, we'd try that. So, but we all ended up sticking to guitar. But when I was 14, I asked my dad, I was like, could you please teach me my first 3 chords? And he taught me C, G, and D. And that day, literally, I learned my first 3 chords and I wrote my first song that day. So songwriting and guitar playing has always gone hand in hand for me. There's never all about being a kid again. And, you know, this goes into my family. I don't talk to them nearly as much as I should. So, if you're listening, love you guys.
better. If my brothers were around, we'd jam all night with our guitars, and we'd sing oh so loud, and my man dad be joined in, and it always seemed right. They're the ones who planted the music deep inside. Take me back to the days when I was young and I'd run and play. There were no worries, cares in the world. Take me back.
Gosh, I don't know. 2004 is when I moved to Vancouver. So that's when everything started to change for me. I went there based solely on going to a church, taking like a Christian course called Youth with a Mission. Basically, it's a school for young people who do missionary work, go overseas. So I went there, studied for 3 months, and then went overseas for 2 months. And I went to Morocco and Scotland and Spain. And I stayed, you know, like probably like maybe a year or two after going to different churches. Like I knew I was going to stay in Vancouver, so when I left, I basically gave away everything I owned and went out there with my really big bags of clothes and things, and my one guitar at the time, and you know, did my schooling and knew that when schooling was done, I was going to stay there, get a job, and figure things out. I didn't have any like musical intentions or anything like that, but yeah, so I basically just finished doing that and just started working. So
Yeah, sorry.
so I was about 23 when I recorded my first song in a studio. My friend Paul Gervin actually was running a recording studio out of our church upstairs, and before I left to go to Vancouver, I wanted to raise some extra funds. So I did like a big benefit concert at my church, and I recorded a 7-song EP, and it was just me and my guitar and like one other friend that did some vocals on it, and that was it. So I got that done, got the packaging all done, and had this big show. Had a friend of mine open the night, and sold a bunch of CDs, sold a bunch of jewelry, raised a whole bunch of money, because the schooling in Vancouver was like 10 grand. So I had to basically raise all that money to go, and I raised it all. Like I worked, but I worked to pay my bills, and I worked to pay for rent mostly when I was here. So literally like all the funding for that school came from just people in my life, people that I knew from church, from wherever. So yeah, it was pretty amazing actually. Like I think it was like 2 days before I left, I still didn't have enough money to go to Morocco. And all of a sudden a check showed up for like 3 grand or something like that from someone. So yeah, people are pretty awesome.
Kiss me out of the beauty barley nightly beside the green grass. Swing that spinning step. You wear those shoes and I will wear the dress. Oh, kiss me under the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open head, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon and sparkling. So kiss me.
When I went to Morocco, it was very musical. We played in the streets of Morocco. We played, there was a group I think there was about 10 of us. And it was interesting because the school that I went to, it was like 24 kids, young adults. And the way that they split the groups up is people chose where they wanted to go. And it just so happened that it evenly split in the middle, and all the people that went to Thailand were unmusical people, and all the people that went to Morocco were musical people, whether it be singing, guitar, fiddle, percussion, just whatever. So we would just take our guitars and fiddles and whatever and just like go out into an open space, and we had people just gather around us listening to our music, and we would get to know the shopkeepers, play music for them in their store, and they make those handmade djembes there. So we got to see like people making those from scratch, and they sold a lot of them in the store, so we would like use them and jam with them in their shops. And so, you know, like I definitely wrote some songs at the time through those experiences that really influenced my songwriting at the time, but they're not songs that I sing anymore that I even remember. I had like a journal with me that whole 2 months, and I wrote in it, and I wrote songs in it and shared them during that time, and maybe like a little like after that. Yeah, then going from Morocco to Scotland, again, we did a lot of music, but in a lot of church settings. So we would go to youth groups and share our stories, life stories. I went into a prison in Scotland and sang for a bunch of men in a prison, and yeah, shared my stories, sang songs, ate with them. It was fun, you know, and it definitely, like, going to Morocco, it was a culture shock. Alright, so this one's Can't No One Bring Me Down. This is actually one of the first songs I wrote when I moved back. I had a lot of conversations with people about my life and how, you know, they couldn't imagine living the life that I live, and so just throughout like some of the conversations I had, like being negative or whatever, you know, like it just made me think about like the last 10 years of my life and how I left for Vancouver, or here, to go to Vancouver and back. So it's like this 100% true story of the last 10 years. So can no one bring me down? I got my head in the clouds with my feet on the ground. Say you couldn't live life my way, but I'm happier now than most people can say. Oh, I'm happier now, living life my way. Life on earth is precious like a stone, and you work real hard towards the unknown. You won't wish it away 'cause time goes too fast. You never know which day will be your last. Oh, don't wish it away 'cause time goes too fast. And I get scared when life seems too much. When I move on, then I get back up. I'll give it all until I'm old and gray, till my bones get tired. I got nothing to say. Moved away when I was 24, with my guitar in hand and not much more. I worked dead-end jobs till I was 33, and that's when it finally dawned on me. Oh, I worked dead-end jobs till I was 33. Knew I had something more to say. Hello, sir, I can't help you today. So I hopped the train towards the eastern skies. The valley is empty, but I'm inside. Oh, I hopped the train towards the eastern skies. I've always written, no matter where or what I'm doing. I've always been a writer, and suddenly I started listening to different artists like KT Tunstall and Ray LaMontagne and Damien Rice, and lyrically my style started to change, content-wise started to change. I started writing more songs about life in Vancouver, love, anything really. I'd be watching TV one day and I'd get an idea and I'd write a song about something that had to do with something, I don't know.
It's the sound of a wave or a baby's first cry. It's the beat of the drum that makes us feel we're alive. And no matter where we are, when we hear that song, it brings us back to the time we could do no wrong. Give our hearts and take them back, and then we do it again. It's the way that it goes, but it's never the end. We fall down and we hurt, and then we get back up. We make mistakes and we learn, and then we fall in love. Hey, yeah,
And then here I am, because I never went back. So all the things, like, I don't know, like I just started playing in different venues here. I started playing at the market. I started to get recognition from playing at the markets, because there are so many people at a market. Like, there's hundreds and hundreds of people going by in the Halifax market, the Dartmouth market. So I decided throughout the year that I wanted to do like a mini market tour. So after playing every weekend at the market in Halifax or in Dartmouth, and selling CDs and playing venues like Celtic Corner and Rock Bottom and, oh my gosh, I don't even know, like Stainer's, just everywhere. Like, I just decided, you know, okay, I'm gonna apply to as many festivals as I can now, trying to get out of the city for the summer, and see who I can find to team up with this summer, because I like teaming up with people. So I ended up meeting another guy in February at a house concert, and we just clicked. So I was like, how about you come on tour with me this summer? So we did the ferry twice to Newfoundland. We did it PEI ferry. We did Ham Jam Festival New Brunswick. I ended up going to Bridgewater solo and doing that, and then was supposed to do Stan Rogers Fest, but it got cancelled, but I'll be doing Stan Rogers Fest this year. So yeah, that's kind of all the stuff that's been happening, I guess. And not only that, but I mean, before I decided to stay, after I decided to stay, I was able to get interviews on like radio stations like Q104 and Bridgewater's station, can't remember the name of it right now, Hank FM, that's what it was, Hank FM, and then the local Dalhousie radio station with Freddie, and then I had a half-page spread in the Chronicle Herald in the entertainment section about kind of what I was doing and with my album and stuff, and being here in Nova Scotia, and then I got on the Jimmy Inch show for a 3-part interview series, and did like 4 live performances on there. So like all these things were happening like literally right after I said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna stay here in Halifax because the music scene is just awesome, and a lot is happening for me here. So as soon as I made that decision, just like one thing after another kept happening. And then I guess one of the craziest things that happened was I walked into a Christmas store to get a holiday job, and the owner just happened to be an ex-agent who founded Matt Anderson and used to agent like Charlie Acourt and people like that. So he knows everybody. So he just started, you know, letting me tag along to house parties and different things like that, and that really helped me just get my name out there, and like people are, you know, at house concerts buying my CDs just from jams, like regular jams. And so I just met a lot of people through hanging out with him, and then he hooked me up with like the CTV morning live show because he knew Cyril. So, you know, I met Cyril at the Tour Tech party last year and was like, hey, I want to be on the show. So I've been on there like 3 times since. And that's cool because you have people walking up to you like, hey, I saw you on CTV. So that's definitely helped, you know, get my name out there and stuff too. So yeah, it's been a crazy whirlwind. And then when I went down to Cape Breton, I brought my my single that I released for cystic fibrosis last year. And they're like playing it on the radio all the time, which is awesome. And so yeah, it's just been crazy, all the amazing things that just keep happening over and over and over again. So I mean, there's been little things in between that are kind of like, I've moved a million times. I've crashed on several couches. I've lived with strangers for a few weeks. You know, and now I'm moving again. So I mean, there's been some interesting things along the way as well, but all for the greater good.
Do you feel like over and over, look at my life as I see my reflection. I see that my eyes are tired and I'm starting to fade. I know that I'm here, but I feel like a sketch of an old finger painting that's been left on a bench at a busy bus stop, and nobody knows I'm here. Will you find me and take me up into your arms and give me something more than this painted heart, and give me a reason to walk right out from this page?
Moving back to Nova Scotia was the best move. Not only because Nova Scotia, like the music scene here is so amazing and the people are so amazing, but Vancouver is such a big, interesting pond. And yes, it was a little fish in a big pond out there, but also the music scene is very different. Like, if you don't play a specific type of music, I mean, not that people didn't like my music, because people obviously bought my CDs there too and booked me and liked me and stuff, but I just found that my music fits better here. You know, like when I got here, I was kind of like, Halifax is really small, like where do I play? So that's why I just started going to all the open mics and playing at the markets. So once you do that, then people are like, oh, you should come play here, oh, you should come play there. And then you realize like the valley has like vast amounts of places to play. And that's why I also started doing house concerts. I mean, yeah, there's some days where I'm like, what am I doing? You know? And it's a dreary day, like, you know, today, and you think, okay, there's so much work that has to be done. I even just for the last 2 months, I've been working 7 days a week and hosting an open mic every week and gigging every week, and I've been putting in like 60 to 70 hours a week of work, and I'm exhausted. You know, Christmas, I was like, yay, Christmas, a couple of days off. And, you know, like I haven't even thought about, you know, gigs because I've had no time to think about it. So I mean, there's times when I get into these where I just want to, I guess, just relax when I get into these times, you know, and just not think about anything, and then you think about all the work that you have to do, and it gets kind of depressing because you're like, crap. I need to sit down and I need to update my websites. I need to like look into bookings. I need to make events. I need to do some posters up of what's coming. I need to, you know, like I have this album campaign that I'm working on, and I really need to get funds for that because I really need to finish this album that I'm working on, you know. And so some days I'm just like, I have no energy. I don't want to do this. Like, this is horrible. And then you look at other artists who are touring and they're out there and they're like on it, and they're just like constantly have like 2 months of tour dates, and they're going from this side of Canada, the other side of Canada, to Australia, to wherever, and you're like, how do they do it? You know, like I'm just in the Maritimes right now, and I'm busy as anything. I couldn't even imagine doing like a cross Canada tour right now. But I mean, I'm working too, like a day job, so it's just sometimes it gets overwhelming. But I think when you get to that point of like I don't know, I can't even think of anything really negative that's happened, I guess, like career-wise, because everything, honestly, since I've gotten here has kind of been this like upscale, not uphill, but just like, you know, things are progressing in my career, and they have since I've gotten here. So I guess when you there's been times where I've applied, like, say, to music festivals, and I've gotten like the no, like, sorry, not this time, and then you feel kind of like, what don't they like about me? You know, what is it? Is it my voice? Is it my music? Is it what is it? Like, why are they saying no? But I mean, if you take that as like a hit or a blow, you know, like, you're never gonna make it, because there's always somebody better, or somebody that someone likes more, or somebody, mainly I think right now, is the way the Maritimes works, it's all names. So, like, if I'm not JP Cormier or Dave Gunning or Joel Plaskett or whoever, you know what I mean? I'm not going to get into these festivals as easily. So that's the whole point of what I've been doing for the last year and a half, is just trying to play as much as possible all over the Maritimes, get my name out there, team up with people who know people, network the crap out of myself, and hopefully, you know, someone will be like, oh, Jen Miller, yeah, I've heard of her, or, you know, whatever. Like, even just meeting like JP Cormier this summer, Jim Hanlon, like, they're really great guys, and like, Jim has put out words to music festivals and different places and said, hey, you need to get Jen Miller to come in and play at your whatever, you know? So when I go to email them, they're like, oh yeah, Jim Hanlon put in a good word for you, and I'm like, awesome. So I mean, that's cool. Like, people who know the industry and who've been in the industry and have played for however many years, 20, 30 years, it's really amazing to have them, you know, kind of like pave the way for artists that are up and coming. I mean, yeah, I've been playing for 5 years, all over like Vancouver and different places, but yeah, coming back to Nova Scotia, you're an absolute nobody. Like, I was nobody when I walked off the train. Like, it was pouring, raining, and no one knew who I was except for friends from back in the day in church. And I mean, I play in bars, so I'm not gonna see those people. So I mean, it's all about getting out there and starting from scratch all over again, really. So that's why, again, open mics, markets, you know, it's crazy, like, just going to house parties and the people you meet who know people that run festivals, that run, you know. So I mean, always staying positive is huge, because if you let any kind of criticism or negative feedback, which I've had people say, oh, that song doesn't do anything for me, or this song has too much of something in it, you should, you know, like, get rid of this instrument and focus more on that, or, you know what I mean? Like, people can pick the crap out of my music all they want, but I have to love it. So if I love it, and I love the way that it is, and I love what's happening with my career, that's really all that matters. So I started an album, a brand new album, in October, which I'm really excited about. I'm working with the same producer, Ross Billard, who I worked with for the Breathe It In single. That single, quickly, I'll just talk about that, is a song that I wrote to raise funds for cystic fibrosis. I have 2 young nephews and a brand new niece who all have CF, which is a genetic disease that affects the digestive system and the lungs. Wherever I've lived, I've always kind of been involved with the CF community, and last year I just wanted to do something a bit different. So I sat down and I wrote a song, and basically just kind of threw it out there to people, whoever wanted to help me produce it and stuff, and Ross just jumped on it and was like, yeah, I'll do it. So he just has a really amazing ear, so he told him I sort of wanted a country pop song, so he got the electric guitar out, and we got Bruce Dixon to play bass on it, and I got it out on radio stations, and I got the Coast in Cape Breton is the station that plays it most regularly. So yeah, I really loved what he did, and so I asked him if we could sit down and talk about this next album that I want to work on. So we sat down, and we got, like, you know, all the songs kind of hashed out of what we wanted to do, and then yeah, one day we just started, and I don't know, like, in the first day we got like 7 songs, put like 7 tracks, like of 7 songs, start it. So he's really fast at what he does. So it was really cool to see how I could take one song and like now it's like a couple months later and it's just turned into something that I never would have thought of. I had this idea for the country heart song that I wrote for my parents, and it went a completely different direction. It's like bluesy, and it's got lots of Hammond organs and electric guitars and wah-wah and all kinds of different stuff in it, and it's just musically it's so amazing.
Brand new day, and gives thanks to the Lord above for the sun on her face, because it's cold outside and winter there's been long, and that big yellow ball in the sky's got her singing her song. She's got 3 grown children and a husband there at home. They're retired in the country and they love being on their own. They sit out on the porch in summer nights and talk. It's been 42 years, and when they hold hands they still feel that spark. 'Cause love has gotten them this far. On the road, and they got everything they could need right there in each other's arms. Love that's rooted deep in my mama and daddy's country heart. When their eyes first met, they were 16 years of age when their hearts got set on a lifelong love and have a share of trials. But at the end of the day they would go to bed with a smile, 'cause love them this far. That love will take them on home. They got everything they could need right there in each other's arms. A love that's rooted deep my mama and daddy's country heart. And life goes by so fast, so hold on to something that will last. It might not be easy, it might be hard, but without love we'd be torn apart. That's why I'm grateful for my mama and daddy's country heart. Yeah, the country heart.
and it's the first single that I've released. So basically I have this album campaign going on right now, and it's an IndieGoGo campaign, and what that does is it's an online platform to raise funds. It's pre-buying the album basically. So people pre-buy the album and its perks. So one of them is like $10 gets you the digital copy of the album when it comes out. $25 gets you that, plus the physical copy signed, plus you get the single right away, like straight to your inbox as soon as you make that contribution. And then the next one up is kind of a leap, but a house concert, which includes everything plus a house concert, plus you get a song written for you, plus you get like, I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff on there. I can't even remember everything I put in there, but so it's not like you're giving me your money, you're actually contributing, you're buying something from me, and those funds then go into the album. So right now, being life as it is, moving and having to work and pay bills and all that, I thought that I could pretty much pay for it all on my own, but with moving and everything, it's kind of changed a little bit. So I figured if I raised $3,000, I could pay for the rest of the recording and the distribution costs and the mixing and the mastering. So all of that together is going to cost about $3,000. So it's been awesome. Like, people are contributing. I definitely could use some more. I'm not quite where I should be or where I think I could be. But I know there's so many people out there that are going to buy the album anyway, so pre-buying it just helps me get the rest of the album finished. So it's been amazing to work with Ross, with Bruce. My friend Chelsea Amber just came on and did some vocals. And I have a fiddle player coming on soon to do some fiddle tracks, and you know, it's a mix of songs that I've written in Vancouver, and it's a bunch of songs that I've written here, new songs. And it's funny because it's really all over the map genre-wise. Single is bluesy. I have another song that's kind of Motown-y, poppy. Another song that's really slow and has like an entire orchestra behind it, and then I've got some really folky songs on there. So it's really honestly, like, if I had a manager right now trying to sell me to like a company or I don't even know, like, it would be so difficult because I know like labels like specifics, and I think that's the one thing I love about my music, is that I cannot ever just give myself a genre, and as annoying as that is to some people, I don't care. Because I love every type of music, I listen to every type of music, and all of that comes out in my music. I feel my diversity on my album helps me in a way that if I wanted to take a single and throw it on a country station, I could. If I wanted to take a more folky song and throw it on like Seaside FM or one of those kind of more chill radio stations, I could. Or if I wanted to take, I don't think there's really much poppy stuff on this album. There was on my last album, but again, I could take that poppy song and I could, you know, wherever, you know, like, there's so many different radio stations. So I think in that way it helps me, but it doesn't help me in the way of, like, I want to play at a folk festival, so I got like 3 folk songs and all the rest are like... But the funny thing about me is I am a solo artist. I play guitar, I play mandolin, and I sing songs. Now, strip all of the musical stuff away, I'm a folky poppy singer-songwriter. That's what I am. But then you know, like, take producers like Ross Billard, and he throws on his Hammond organ and he makes it all bluesy, and he takes his country licks on his, you know, electric guitar. It totally changes up the vibe of the song. So, I mean, if I'm getting booked as a solo artist, it's a whole different scenario. So if people want what's on my album, I'm going to have to hire musicians to do that if they want a full band, which I can. But since I'm mainly a singer-songwriter and I jump around from house concert to market to random bar, you know, then, you know, it works for me because everybody gets a little bit of everything, and it's just me and a guitar. So, yeah, it just works.
When Remember that time we took a walk in the fall? All the leaves were changing and the trees were so tall. I couldn't imagine a day without you. Had hope for the future and a love so brand new. 4 years later, sometime on the road, you couldn't handle me gone, you felt like you were alone. You said that you loved me, but you couldn't stay. You said I needed to choose by the end of the day. But I traded in for that Sunday morning paper. You're reading me while I'm doing my hair. When we are reading and the only way to stand and not fall. With your hand in mine, together till death do us part.
Hey everybody, Jen Miller here. Thank you so much for visiting my IndieGoGo page. The album is almost finished. It's just getting the final touches in the new year. It's really cool to just take your guitar into a studio and have it magically evolve into, this sort of masterpiece. The campaign is going to go to the last little bit of recording and mixing and mastering along with the duplication. So I really appreciate your support. I couldn't have asked for better people in my life that have been supporting me and helping me out along the way since I've moved back here. And to all of you in Vancouver and people I've met across Canada, whether it be on a ferry or a train, I'm just super excited to share this new album with you. So look at the perks, get what you want. And, if you get the $25 perk, you're going to get my brand new single, Country Heart, which is a song that I wrote for my parents this summer for their 42nd wedding anniversary. I really love the final product, and so I really hope that you do too. So again, thanks for sharing this journey with me and just being my friend and supporting me and helping me to do what it is that I love to do and what I feel I'm supposed to do. So thank you, and hopefully we'll be seeing you at the CD release party.
She puts her house coat on as she starts a brand new day and gives thanks to the Lord above for the sun on her face. 'Cause it's cold outside and the winter there's been long, but that big yellow ball in the sky's got her singing her song. She's got 3 grown children and a husband there at home. They're retired in the country and they love being on their own. They sit out on the porch in summer nights and talk. It's been 42 years and when they hold hands they still feel that spark. 'Cause love has gotten them this far. Come on home. And they got everything they could need right there in each other's arms. A love that's rooted deep in my mama and daddy's country heart.